This one I took a long time to kind of write. I think some people might have gotten confused by it, but live sports in the age of AI, why the UFL must evolve or die. This is an article that I wrote. I spent a lot of time on. Let's kind of get into it and I break it down. This way you can hear from me about what I meant by this article, because there was definitely some confusion going on. So basically, here it goes. So as we turn to the new year, Season 2 of the United Football League is right around the corner, 80 days from the time I wrote this. Friday, March 28th, training camp is set to start February 27th. Unlike the XFL season in 2020, the USFL season in 2022, the XFL and USFL seasons in 2023, and even the UFL season in 2024. The world is about to change fast, and the UFL needs to adapt quickly if they want to survive. What is coming is the fourth industrial revolution, something coined by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. As with a major shift, this transition brings growing pains and adaptation challenges. In 2025, we will stand at the beginning of this transformation. So you're like, what are you talking about? So basically, we're moving from the third industrial revolution to the intelligence age. And this is going to impact everything, all businesses, all work. It's going to be a massive shift, and it's starting in 2025. And we're moving into the intelligence age. We went from the printing press to the steam engine to the late 20th century is the rise of the internet. I was there, and how the internet transformed global communications and commerce, in Amazon and brick and mortar stores hurt and newspapers decline. So while AI's growth over the next 2 years may eliminate jobs and create new roles in emerging sectors, probably just going to end up doing those jobs too, which is something that you hear a lot in the AI space. And we'll get to the UFL in a second. But I'm laying down the groundwork for where I'm coming from all this. There is going to be major change. And if the UFL was going to survive this major change, they need to adapt. So we break down all of that coming soon. And I'm basically telling you it's happening right now. If you think you're safe, if you think you can if you're the best video editor in the world, AI will eventually be able to do that better than you. If you're basically, as long as you're doing stuff with your hands, you're okay. But if you're doing something behind a computer like me, software engineer is my career, I'm in trouble. And I've used the tools. I've seen what's out there, my friends. And I am telling you, accountants, lawyers, doctors, the AI is doing a better job at figuring out, diagnosis. It's already happening now. It's just happening under your eyes. So I with all that knowledge, I'm putting what's happening going forward and what's coming in 2025, because I want the UFL to succeed, and I think they can if they do the right thing. So there's two headwinds coming in 2025. Traditional media is dead. We've seen the mergers, that sector, writing for newspapers, cable television, radio, all that stuff is finally coming. The chicken has come home to roost. We've seen cable numbers drop. My kids do not watch cable television. They don't even really watch sports anymore. It looks like, of course, ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers, that Venue Sports was not going to happen, but then they settled. So I don't know, and Venue Sports is coming back, or I don't know what's going on with that. Comcast, who used to broadcast USFL games, is shaking things up. They're spinning off some of their biggest cable networks, MSNBC, CNBC, USA Network, into a new publicly traded company called SpinCo. Other major networks will follow. Rupert Murdoch is getting older. He's 93 years old. Who knows what happens with Fox when he passes? And these are the channels where the UFL is right now. And the problem is, in some respects, is that they're owned by these channels. Do you think the UFL could get an actual big television, a TV deal, if they streamed on Amazon Prime or Netflix? I mean, look at the deal that, MLS got. And, so that's why to ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers, why these guys who are against each other are now getting together, because they're trying to compete with Netflix and Amazon and Apple TV, which having an entity like the UFL is a good thing. But the problem is, does this hurt the UFL? Because these networks are now struggling, keeping viewers and, kind of on the brink. Now, they're not going to go away and disappear. They're just valuations. They're not going to be worth what they are now. And in Fox in particular, if Rupert Murdoch passes, And now is the time to sell for his kids. If they wait 5 years, every year that his kids wait to sell Fox, that goes down. Now, what if Fox is out of the mix when it comes to the UFL? You know what I mean? So that's why I'm pointing out ESPN, Disney, Fox. Why these things matter is because these will all kind of impact what the UFL is going. So you have this whole big corporate change in the world of television going on right now. The model that used to work before, when it was like, oh, WWE, you get all these big, huge ratings on cable or whatever. Like, I know we talk about ratings and attendance. Attendance is one thing. The ratings will go down because there's less people watching television. This is where the problem kind of lies, is that bar for sports and live sports is kind of moving all over the place. So, and with everything going on, so that's one factor to kind of keep in mind in 2025. And job losses on the rise. 2025, it doesn't matter who is in the White House, jobs losses will rise. Companies have started to scale back their operations due to AI. We're hearing more and more about it. There's the whole return to work thing. I read something where companies were saying, hey, you can't work remotely anymore. You have to move, you have to come in the office. And if you live in a different state, we're going to pay you differently than if you lived here. There's a lot of transition going on. AI, a lot of job company, like in my industry, software engineering, they've already said, Salesforce has said they're not, and Meta have said they're getting rid of software engineers. They're not hiring anybody new. So this is the problem. And this is just affecting my sector, but it will start trickling down to other sectors as AI gets bigger and bigger. So what happens when there's job losses? People don't spend money. They're afraid. This is going to impact the UFL. So what does this all mean? Where am I getting to with all of this? So if the UFL wants to survive, and this is a transition, the next 3 or 4 years are going to be this transition from this third industrial revolution to the fourth industrial revolution. We're going to have this transition. If the UFL can survive these next 4 years, then it's off to the races, and they've got a brand that's not going to go anywhere like Major League Baseball and, the NFL, the NBA. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. But they need to survive this transition and not chicken out, which is what I'm afraid of. They need to have a mixture of up-and-coming front office talent and veteran leadership, like we saw in the XFL in 2020. What we see from the outside now, from looking at things, is that currently the UFL is not really bringing in any new stars. Your Zach Potters, your young 20-something intern turned GM, and that became a 3-time champion with the Birmingham Stallions, along with a veteran leader like Skip Holtz. Like, that's the model that the league needs to have. And right now, all I'm seeing in these hirings are old dudes, the whole bro network and of friends, bringing people in. I'm not really seeing a lot of young up and coming talent, and these old people aren't going to know what to do when it comes to this AI revolution that's right around the corner. And that's my fear, is they need to have a mixture of young people and new people. All I'm seeing is like, let's pull somebody from Fox. Oh, so-and-so was friends with so-and-so. Let's bring that guy in. It's like, no, you need to have up and coming talent to make this happen. And I think Zach Potter and Skip Holtz combo is the model that they need to go forward. But I feel like there's just a good old boy network of, I know so-and-so, I'm going to bring them in to do it. And that's not going to be a recipe for success. First, ESPN and Fox. You are a team now. One of the reasons we reported a week ago for the lackluster UFL 2025 schedule rollout was due to ESPN and Fox not wanting to promote each other's brands. That's it. It was that simple. They didn't want to be like, I'm not going to tell them to go tune in on ESPN, and I'm not going to tell them to tune on Fox. To put it bluntly, and I will quote the minority owner of the UFL, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I say this to those people at ESPN and Fox: know your role and shut your mouth. The only valuable asset between Fox Sports and ESPN is their live sports and Pat McAfee. That's it. No one under the age of 60 watches sports talk TV, anyone. No one cares about Colin Cowherd. No one cares about Stephen A. Smith or any talk show on Fox Sports or ESPN, because they know no one knows who they are. They don't care. No one cares. You're in this together. United States Football League. You need to be in this together. Now, you're in this together, and this United Football League could be more valuable than anything you two own in the next several years. I'll get into that in a second. Fox Sports only retweeted the UFL schedule. At least the ESPN came out with their own press release. Yeah, they're putting commercials on, but that's it. Where's the hype? Where are you on these so valuable talk shows that you have? You can't spend 10 minutes to talk about the UFL, something that you own. You think it's better because you look at the numbers to talk about Aaron Rodgers and what a jerk he is for 10 minutes rather than putting over the league that you own. Now, we did get destroying on ESPN. I think that went very well. That's good because he is the biggest name. He is the biggest star in the league. Aside from The Rock, he is the biggest star. You need to create more stars. We're going to get into that soon. But still, if you have this great partnership, you need to put each other over because you're in this together. Especially now, a venue is back on the cards. You need to work together. Know your role and shut your mouth. You're not that. I mean, aside, like I said, aside from live sports, it's kind of like whatever. It's kind of like when they first came out and they were like, oh, we were going to do this great production quality. You all live in a bubble. No one cares about the production quality. Yes, the teams need to be good on the field, which they are. We don't care if you have drones, robots, which I think would be cool. I mean, people like the replay stuff and behind the scenes. Oh, we're going to get on the sidelines and talk to the players, and it's going to be so amazing. That did not move the needle. That was all internal corporate talk. The schedule, this kind of thing with the schedule, that's corporate talk. That's like your internal bubble. And I'm bursting your bubble because you're in this together. So that was just stupid. And you need to put your league that you own more over because this could be one of the more valuable assets that you have under your belt. You think your radio stations are worth anything anymore? I can't even tell you the last time I turned on a local radio station. We'll get into that. No more old media. This week, UFL News Hub recap. We interviewed recaps with Birmingham Stallions head coach Skip Holtz, San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips, and executive vice president of football operations Dal Moose Johnson. These are all great interviews, but two of them were on the same radio station, and that's it. You've had 3 local radio. Again, we're going back to no one listens to local radio. Take a page from the presidential election in 2024. Local is okay, but podcasts and YouTube channels with reach are way better. More people would watch Wade Phillips being interviewed on Destroying's YouTube channel than all the traditional radio appearances combined for a month. Local is okay for brand awareness, but those channels don't reach the market you want. That is, unless you're having a seniors night at your stadiums. Whatever you did in the past won't work. That horse has left the barn. Stop trying to be like, hey, we got on a radio station. Yeah, now that in DC, there's like the sports junkies, and they're still kind of a known thing. But these, like, you need to think outside the box. Stop going with the old traditional media. Oh, let's get an article in a newspaper that no one reads. I mean, yes, getting something in the Washington Post, we'll get into that whole in a second. But you get my point. You got to think outside the box. If you want to reach your market, use the YouTube people that promote your brand. Use us as well because we reach exactly who you want. Do you want to reach 1,000 diehard UFL fans? I mean, I know you need to bring in new people, but that's why you got to think outside the box. Could you imagine, I don't know, Russ Brandon appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Destroying on the Pat McAfee show? Like something like that would get more over. Ask him to do something with the UFL. Have him involved. Get him to be the one that be like, hey, Pat, we want to put a team in Indianapolis and you're going to be the owner. That would put your league over. That's the kind of marketing you need. Even going after the mom YouTubers or on Travis Kelce's show. That's where you need to be, not at the traditional old school media. So what to do in 2025? I'm writing this to not be a troll, but because I want the UFL to survive. I didn't do this thinking I was going to get 1 million clicks. I did this because I wanted to put this out there and make sure that we're all on the same page. Now, I'm going to say that this is what I'm hearing. So I'm writing this not to be a troll, but because I want the UFL to survive. for the fans, coaches, front office staff, and players. Across the board, that's what I want to do. Live sports will continue to be a valuable asset in the future. This can work and have a long future if the right steps are taken right now. Not next week, not next season, right now. So live sports in the age of AI. So Alexis Ohanian, the co-founder of Reddit, had some interesting thoughts on live sports in the age of AI. He says that AI-generated content becomes more common. People are going to crave real, authentic experiences, and live sports will become even more valuable. That's what the co-founder of Reddit thinks, and he is right. The unpredictability and raw emotion of a live game are things AI just can't replicate, and Ohanian sees it as a huge advantage for sports in the future. So like I said earlier, the UFL will be more valuable to ESPN, Fox, and Redbird Capital in the future than it is right now. Treat it as such, not an afterthought. Treat it as such. Now, going on with The Rock, know your role and shut your mouth. I'm a lifelong fan of The Rock. I've been disappointed about seeing him make appearances on CNBC and other shows and never even mentioning the UFL. He mentions his other brands, but not the United Football League. We are hearing from UFL News Hub sources that he is mostly out. It is disappointing because he's such a great asset. The player 54 was great, but without him, it means nothing. Having Danny Garcia as XFL commissioner was a great idea. It generated buzz, a goodwill towards the brand. She should have been commissioner in the UFL. She's a good brand ambassador, hitting media channels. She's connected. The league needs talking up, and she was somebody to do it. She still does it, but it doesn't have the impact as it does if she was commissioner. So she should be that. That's nothing against Russ Brandon. I met him in person. Wonderful guy. He does his job well. The league just needs to follow the model set by Oliver Luck. He was everywhere. The league seems to be rudderless and needs dynamic frontman or woman. Now, it seems like now both Johnson and Garcia are on the outs for whatever reason. If they are no longer part of the big picture or just owners in the background, their content being silent investors and aren't willing to promote the league on their own, it's time for both of them to go and move on. So that's my thing. Either you're in or you're out. If you're going to promote the league and you're going to put it over, great. You're going to contribute something to the league, or you're a minority owner. You just want to get paid. Like, you're either in the front or you're out. Like, one way or the other. It's just kind of this mixed signal, and I hope that they are in. Now, Danny Garcia posts stuff about the UFL, which is great. Dwayne Johnson does a little bit, but again, are you in or you're out? And I really think they should put her in as commissioner. I don't care about the mansphere going on right now. I think that she would make a good leader for the league, and you just need to get the word out there. And I think that would be I think that would help. And again, that's not again. If Russ Brandon wants to be the guy and out and hitting all these things, he should do that as well. Podcasters and influencers. So since it is looking like AJ McCarron could be retiring, and rumor has it he might be having his own podcast show, the league's most valuable player and a valuable player asset right now is destroying. The United Football League needs more like him. They can do that by creating their own homegrown influencers. Help us fans get to know the UFL players on a personal level. There are stars in that pool. Find them, teach them, build them up, and use them. That's how you do it. Instead of appearances on traditional radio and television, have coaches, front office, players appear on podcasts and YouTube channels. Joe Rogan, Kelsey Brothers, New Heights, Barstool Sports, you name it. Put them on there. Target podcasts and channels about men, football fans, even women. When they appear anywhere, cut up those interviews and distribute them on the social channels. And for Pete's sake, use the UFL hashtag. I go to look at the Twitter and they don't even use the UFL hashtag. Short clips are the thing right now, and do that. Take the time to take care of that piece, to put it out there. And use the hashtag UFL. That drives me nuts. Like, that is like basic 101. Create your home behind the scenes. Fans love to talk about what's happening behind the scenes with the league. Give us access to grow your audience. Look how well Netflix Formula One Drive to Survive and Full Swing did. My kids talked about the drivers. My wife learned more about the golfers. I follow the golfers that were on there. I can't wait to watch season 2. I even started a golf site, Golf News Nation. That's right. Playing around with the idea of covering golf if this thing doesn't work out. So, but I really enjoyed Full Swing. Both came away with their favorites. Build the same for the UFL. An unprecedented look at building a major football league from the ground up is huge. I would love to know everything that happens behind the scenes, the arguments, who's doing what. Like, that would get more ratings. Put that on ABC. The building of the UFL, not a one-off, and don't give it anything, but like really behind the scenes, like Drive to Survive. Put that on ABC or Fox. That would do huge, because that would get people interested in that. ESPN can drop cornhole championships for a night. FS1, you can drop anything on your thing to put that on there. Remember, the UFL is one of your more valuable assets right now. See above the Reddit co-founder. Help those help you. News sites like UFL News Hub, UFL Board, Pro Football Newsroom, and us are your partners. Podcasts that cover the league are not your adversaries. Together, they are your assets. Make sure they have access, images, content, the things they need to promote your brand. Our job is to promote you, your brand. You need more of us to put it out there. The Washington Post recently announced layoffs affecting about 4% of its workforce starting in 2025, targeting roles in business areas like sales and IT while sparing the newsroom staff. This follows a challenging financial period, including a $77 million loss in 2023 and a decline in digital subscriptions from 3 million in 2020 to 2.5 million in 2023. My point, what is more valuable to the UFL? One article from the Washington Post at the beginning of the season, if you're lucky, or articles, videos, shorts created from UFL influencers? How about a 1 minute or 2 minute, 10-minute appearance before a season on a local sports talk radio channel, or an in-depth conversation with people who actually know and care about the league, who in turn create articles, videos, and shorts? My point is, you have the coach go on a 10-minute thing, an appearance on some radio station that no one listens to anyways, because that is a dead medium, or have them come on a podcast, get an in-depth interview, and then that gets regurgitated and shipped out to the internet sphere, versus the just same lame, like, hey, how's the team going to be this year? What are tickets? You know what I mean? Like, that's important, but there's use those who help us help you. That's my things, because we are basically UFL fans who follow these channels like ours are the ones telling their friends about the United Football League. Your UFL advocates. I brought in new people last season to DC Defenders games. I probably touched about like 10 people at least, had them come to a game last year, who then they brought friends and so on and so forth. Your UFL advocates are your assets. Help them. They bring friends to the games. And I'm not saying not go the traditional media route, but help the ones who put your league over too. It is very boomer of the UFL front office to ignore us. Sorry, it's true. I can say that. I just turned 50. So I could say that. I'm allowed to say that. But it is true. It's very boomer just to be like, oh, we need to go on, the local radio station, and we should put out a big ad in the newspaper. What century do you live in? It's done. On to the next thing. This one kind of got people pissed off, but I don't care. I'm here to help. Get a female kicker. Find the best female place kicker in football. Sign her up for an UFL tryout. The UFL can do it, or have Destroying cover it on his channel. Hey, let him go. I say, hey, we're going to go and find the best female kicker in sports right now. Field goal kicker. Let's do it. On his channel, have a tryout, do with his videos, even get Pat McAfee involved. He has a daughter. He's a former NFL kicker. Have her on there, or have him be part of the ones that are trying to find it, and just give her a tryout, just to try out. Even if she gets cut, that huge buzz would be if and it's woke, whatever. No, let me tell you something. Girls play football now. Girls flag football is increasing. My daughter plays flag football, and she loves it. It's a favorite sport. And she just started playing it this past season. It was weird to go see your daughter play football. Tap into that market. Get those chicks interested. Get the women, the females interested in having a hero. If they could have a hero in the UFL that was like, hey, she's a kicker in the UFL, like, bring her in. You know what I mean? Just bring her in. I think that would be a good thing. Going on to the next thing. Girls and boys flag football. It's a big thing. Girls flag. I just talked about my daughter playing flag football. Bring in the flag football teams to play on the field at halftime. boys and girls teams. Maybe do events at the end of the games. Kids events at halftime bring in more than just mom and dad. It's about their grandparents and their friends and family, just inviting them and giving them merch. The Ravens did it for a preseason game, and a ton of the girls went with my daughter's high school flag football team. Most of them, it was their first professional football game. And now guess who their favorite team is? The Baltimore Ravens. Treat them right, and you'll be your fans for life. Get involved with those flag football girls and boys teams, leagues throughout your area, and that's a way to bring them in. Even if you can get them to be like, hey, we need you to, we'll give you these shirts, these jerseys, if you have one team is called the DC Defender or the Defenders, the red and white. That's how you do it now, not going on the newspaper or your local television, local newscast. Who watches local news anymore? The one valuable thing for local news was the weather. I can get that on my phone now. Thank you. Goodbye. Next. Expansion, expansion, expansion. The biggest interest driver to the UFL we see is expansion talk. Articles, videos talking about expansion gets eyeballs. Tap into that all season long. Fans want to be part of the United Football League, but don't have a local connection. Using both ESPN and Fox, this is what you do. Tease city finalists for each division at the beginning of the season. ESPN will cover the XFL conference. Fox Sports will cover the USFL conference. Those 10 markets will be drawn into watching the league for a chance to cheer on a home team all season long. Here's another thing. Lie about it. Even if the location has no chance, like San Diego, Oakland, New Jersey, or Chicago, who cares? They are big markets, and fans will watch the 2025 season with the hope that they get a team in 2026. But have no fear if they don't. There is always 2027. By that time, they are in, or you got more fans. Plus, if these larger markets show out in the ratings or have fan interest, a location that might not have been on the cards, like a San Diego, if you're like, wow, we have got a ton of people in San Diego that are clamoring for this team, we can make it happen. It's in, with the taxes or whatever in California, but wait a second. There is so much interest in San Diego could be the next St. Louis. Because we weren't even planning on doing it in 2026, but we teased it that it was on the table, and they went nuts. And now, instead, we're going to do it. That's how you do it. That is how you bring fans in. Use expansion. Minor League Baseball used their model. Fireworks, giveaways, special appearances can draw fans. That's been tried and true tradition. I know Houston tried to do it with the wrestling thing. I appreciate that. Booker T coming in. That really didn't do anything, but you're on the right track, and those are things to do. Bring in all veteran, Commanders, Redskins, Baltimore Ravens night at DC Defender, whatever. They're doing like theme nights and stuff like that. They're on the right path. They just have to figure out what works in this league. Also, more local in-person events. The UFL tents at sporting events throughout the fall. NFL games, college football, big high school football games. Boots on the ground should be part of, their local Rotary, Chamber of Commerce, any network associations. I know they're bringing in more people. They need to start building relationships and keep them on the payroll all season long. It takes time to build these relationships, and you have high turnover. There was like a social media team, and now they're all gone, and now they're back, and some of them are back. And then, you got rid of a bunch of like marketing people, but now you're hiring marketing people. Keep them on board. Let them build that relationships. Those take time, but more local in-person events could do the trick. And the UFL did this. DC Defenders were at, watching for the Commanders game and a Ravens game. That's how you kind of have to do it. I think that was a good idea. It's not going to be great right now. It will take time. Here's the bottom line. Survive, and sky's the limit. If you want to survive the upcoming intelligence age, the UFL needs to adapt. The key is to have a growth mindset. ESPN, Redbird Capital, Fox have something that could be one of the biggest assets in their portfolio in the future. Could you imagine, even if this league get half the evaluation of an MLS team? $100 million per team, $500 million per team. And, a locked-in audience, expand, the schedule. You could have up to 17. You're just adding more to it. It could be a huge asset. UFL News Hub, however, expects attendance for the UFL to be down this season. And we explained why earlier. It's okay for now. The league needs to be patient. You as fans don't get thrown off by the attendance. I think I've explained to you why I think it's going down, but I have a feeling attendance will be down. Now, NFL is the king, and to have your own football league that you own everything is huge. Between selling franchises, merch, TV rights, you own it all. You just have to make it work, and it will take off in the future. But you have to think outside of the box and be a first mover in this new era and be different. The league has the people to do it. The question is, do they have the mindset? Let us know all of this stuff we talked about. Let us know what you think in the comments.